Brain activity during meditation looks very different depending on how long you've been practicing meditation. I'm Dr. Yewande Pearse, a neuroscience researcher who studies the many different functions of the brain. You may have found yourself saying, I know this makes me feel great, but why do I have to do it every day? Today we're going to take a look at all the positive benefits of regular meditation practice can have on your brain. You may have heard that meditation can improve your mood, increase your ability to focus, and lower levels of stress. But have you ever wondered why? We can actually shape our brains throughout our lives through a process called neuroplasticity, which is the nervous system's ability to restructure itself in response to internal and external input. It's not the number of brain cells that are important for a healthy brain to function, but the number of connections between them that benefits us most. Although it may seem like we're asking our entire bodies to be still, our brains are quite active when we're meditating. Any kind of brain activity promotes neuroplasticity, but there is such a thing as a bad connection. Rumination, or getting stuck with one negative way of thinking, can strengthen our emotion tied to stress and anxiety. When we meditate, we focus on strengthening the neural connections we want and weakening others. Because we can't exactly just take a peek into a healthy living brain, it's hard to directly study how meditation affects these connections. When comparing the brain activity of both novice and expert meditator, you'll see that the beginner meditators have a lot more brain activity while meditating. Which makes sense, because when you're learning something new, you're still working to overcome the habitual ways thoughts flow through your mind. But when we become more experienced meditators and become better at achieving a meditative brain state, our brain activity is mostly in three main areas. The first is the caudate, which is thought to have a role in allowing us to note and let go from thoughts or information we don't want to engage while meditating. Second is the entorhinal cortex, which is thought to control our thoughts and also prevent mind wandering. And last but not least is the medial prefrontal cortex, which is thought to support the enhanced self-awareness we feel while meditating. Meditation has shown to increase grey matter in the brain in a few key areas, meaning it's a great way to combat the natural decline of grey matter in the brain that happens as we age. The biggest changes are seen in the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for complex thinking processes like concentrating on a task or making difficult decisions. It also plays a big role in our ability to resist distractions. So as it becomes bigger, we can more selectively focus and sustain our attention more easily. Meditation has also been shown to shrink the amygdala, which is also known as the fear center of the brain. The amygdala activates our physical and emotional responses to perceived danger, commonly known as the fight or flight response. Having a smaller amygdala reduces the capacity of our body to respond this way to the small stresses in life. In turn, this decreases our overall levels of anxiety, stress, and fear. After a meditation, you feel great, but these good feelings can wear off, like a drug that stops working over time. In order to really strengthen these changes, consistency in your practice is key. It may be helpful to think about meditation as doing exercise for your brain. So even if you're struggling to fully enter a meditative state at the beginning, you can take solace in knowing that you're gaining long-term benefits for your brain. I'm Dr. Yewande Pearse. Thank you very much for watching.